As expected, it only took a year to expand Don't Say Gay law. Florida Representative Adam Anderson, a Republican elected in 2022, filed a bill that purportedly sets policy relating to a person's sex while at public K-9 education institutions. The bill defines sex as binary and says it must be treated by the state as an immutable biological trait. The legislation, House Bill 1223, says it prohibits specified actions relating to the use of certain titles and pronouns and revises requirements for instruction on sexual orientation and gender identity in public schools. And while supporters of last year's Don't Say Gay law frequently stressed an outright prohibition on discussion of gender identity and sexual orientation only applied to classroom instruction in kindergarten through 3rd grade, the new bill would expand that through grade 8. The end of middle school in most Florida districts. It also extends the requirement back to pre-kindergarten. As per the new bill, the employees, contractors, or students of a Florida public K-12 school will not be required to refer to others using a preferred personal title or a pronoun if it does not match their sex, according to the proposed bill. Additionally, doing so cannot be required as a condition of employment, enrollment, or participation in any programs for public K-12 educational institutions. Should Anderson's bill pass, it would take effect on July 1st. It seems the Don't Say Gay law has taken a worse turn in just 1 year of its passing. My God, I can't believe that year went by so fast. And here is where we're at. And unfortunately, you know, the children, the non-voters are the ones that are actually going to feel all the effects of this coming through. I mean, it's bad enough that they were just throwing K-3 at us, and now they're saying K-8. I mean, you know, I think about myself when I was growing up. If it were up to my parents, they would have sheltered me and not shown me anything about sex education. If it weren't for my public school that I went to that offered sex education, and now they're even taking away that. You know, it's scary times.
Children have been entrusted by parents in order to be teachers have been entrusted to be role models for children, to be able to actually help see them, right, to see those kids and validate them for who they are and who they're becoming in their own respect and right. They're taking that power away, and who will these kids ultimately turn to in order to feel a sense of validation for who they are, whether you can see it or you can't?
That's where I would turn.
It's really scary. They would. They're going to turn to maybe some less desirous models.
Yeah. And let's remember, there are private schools. We do stories at least once a week here about how this Christian university or this Christian elementary school fired a teacher for being gay or something like that. If you don't want your kids to hear about gay, send them to a private school where you can tailor their education more. This is a public school. It should be more general education. That's the key here. I'm not, you know, trying to tell whatever Cardinal Gibbons High School or whatever what they have to do. They shouldn't do what they're doing, but they can do it. But for public schools, it should be open for the entire public.
And none of this was even relevant when I was in school that young. I mean, this was never on the table.
I think it was like 8th grade, 8th, 9th grade, you had to get your parents to sign off on sex education.
And the boys went in one room and the girls went in the other room.
You know, I think it's important to remember, Don't Say Gay, February. I think it's interesting that your reaction is this year has been so fast in terms of what we've seen. Don't Say Gay was passed in K-3 because it was unimaginable that we were doing anything in sexual orientation in teaching kindergartners through 3rd grade. It did not happen. They could not produce any examples in the entire state of Florida where there were examples of this. That is not what was at play. What was at play is to pass a law that did not apply to anyone so they could get the law passed. And that's what they successfully did. And they were hoping to get it through without objection because there's no sexual education or orientation for K-3. So nobody will even really pay attention to this until a very smart gay person said, "Don't say gay," and labeled the law that way. And the entire world turned upside down. But simultaneously, everybody said this is written so vaguely that it cracks open the door, and then they're going to come back kicking it down. This is the next step of the kick down of that door. Are they successful? You betcha. Yeah. Last year at this exact time, I was at the LGBT Democratic Caucus, and I interviewed an incredibly shining example of what happened early in the Don't Say Gay days. That was Will Larkin at Winter Park High School. And he, remember, leads that chant of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of students that walk out at Winter Park High School chanting, say gay, in protest of what they were doing. 1 year later, over this weekend, I interviewed Will Larkin at the Florida LGBT Democratic Caucus in Orlando, and he was so defeated.
No, ow.
It was almost tears in the interview with me of his council. The Queer Student Union at Winter Park High School has been dissolved. The teacher that was the sponsor has quit.
Wow.
The principal at Winter Park High School has quit, and the entire turnover of what's happened at Winter Park High School, of those 100 students, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of students that marched out saying gay, now can say nothing. And Will Larkin was basically, I said to Will, you sound basically defeated, and you're counting the days to the graduation. He's a senior now. You're counting the days, the next 90 days to your graduation. His answer was, he looks down at the floor, he looks up at me, and he goes, yes, I can't wait to get out.
Get the hell out of here.
That's what Don't Say Gay has done to Florida. Now, you hear a story about Will Larkin. Where the hell is our community? Where the hell is the LGBTQ community? You're watching The Next Step. You're watching it. And we have to decide what we're going to do, because we're losing our children in school.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out television network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.